Yeah, totally. I know what you mean. And those moments get less and less and less. But you cannot be, we're complex, ego-driven
Exactly.
beings. So we can't be perfect unless, I guess even the ones sitting in a cave in the Himalayas are not perfect either in that sense. And so and I just, I think what you've been describing is really interesting and really important in that, just this concept of holding both the desire to create change, solve problems, take action, with knowing that you can't control everything. And I loved how you use that example of nature, that in nature that is the way it is. It's organized chaos and not always. So I love how you have brought that into how you manage yourself, and also how you see, the work and the world more broadly.
Thank you.
And I think it's actually quite a good description of someone who is that left brain and right brain, and that's a very simplistic way of talking about it, but that is PhD and analytical and detailed orientated and synthesizing, and with feeling and sensation in the body and intuition, and it's the marriage of both of those ways of being within all of us.
Yeah. And I think all of us have this, right? So I think sometimes we don't accept it, right?
Yeah.
Because I know, like, my CEO is a professor at university, someone super well respected. In the other day, he didn't take a decision that was the right decision, right? And I was asking him, why did you not take this? Because this was from a business perspective, this was the right decision. And then he was telling me, because my gut feeling was telling me this was the right decision, but my factual brain was telling me, no, this was not. And I didn't have all the facts. So I could not just go and tell in a meeting, my gut feeling tells me this, right? And I was having this discussion with him that I think, and I told him, having me in your team, I hope you do have more of these gut feelings. And I really respect them, because I do believe sometimes they bring better decisions than all the fact-based, maybe. Right. Because you also have a lot of this, there's more and more research about this brain-gut axis,
right.
And how actually your gut has, because you have your the primordial brain system, right, that is connected to your gut. And we in our culture and this primordial brain system is the system that is present in every animal, right? It's the system that makes us survive, that makes us want to live, and that takes us away from danger. And we as human beings, as we evolved, I think we try to mask that system because it makes us animal, right? It makes us
not
basic.
Yes.
And we don't want to be basic, but I have the feeling that only by integrating the basic piece of us with the more complex, you can truly be, true to yourself or to the world, or no, exactly, whole. And it's interesting. We try to, and he was like, no, Isabel, you cannot tell me you will trust something I do with my gut feeling. I don't even know what there is. And I was like, yes, I do. You just try. Let's try. Just do it. I'll support you in that. I say, but the other people. And I say, you don't have to tell the other people because your gut feeling. If you tell me, then we can laugh about it.
I love that. I love that you're bringing that into, your work, and you're supporting your CEO in that way.
Yeah, and I think he's in the beginning he was very skeptical about all this stuff, but now he's more and more, he's just experimenting with it, and he's enjoying it. He's really enjoying it as well. So it's Because he has funny enough, he's a man, a German man, so very fact, blah, blah, but he has this very high sensitive within himself, this very human capacity. And he was also taught, and he's very big, he's 2 meters, he's the embodiment, all right, of this aggressive, like powerful. And it's so wonderful to see him also tapping into that and how happy he becomes, because he's really good at it. It's just masked by all the stuff someone told him that's how he needs to be, right? So, and I do believe, I deal with a lot of businessmen, very successful people. And I always try to ask, because I'm very curious about people, human beings, what moves them. And what I found is that the most successful people, they do a lot of things based on gut feeling. They just don't call it that, right? Then they support it with data, whatever. But if you start asking exactly how this came about, a lot of people will tell you, this was chance. In the end, it was luck. It was not really planned. Exactly. So you start to understand, actually, they did tap into this, but they didn't tell anybody, right? Because it was too shame. Okay, I cannot tell I took this decision, just based on my gut feeling.
Yeah. So true. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way before. You're right, that it's happening all the time, but it's not called that, or it's not shared openly, because it's not seen to be as acceptable in the business world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I have one final question. What are you ambitious about?
Yeah. So define for me, what do you mean by ambitious?
Well, I would like to know from you what it means to you. What comes up for you when you hear that word?
Yeah. So interesting enough, I get a negative connotation with ambitious, and just because, and I don't know if this is true or not, right? But I have the feeling in our world, ambitious is connected to ego, and to fulfill the desires of the ego, if I can tell it in this way, right? And in that sense, I don't like the word ambition, and because I think I have been caught in that ambition at a certain point. And at the end of the day, these desires of the ego, in most cases, what they all are is wanting to be loved and respected for who you are, right? But you just don't realize this, and you keep on feeding the ego, because that's the place where I have been, where I wanted to deliver, I wanted to be the best, I wanted to drive, and not necessarily I ever wanted to be in a specific position. So I've never been ambitious in that sense. I never did anything of the things that I did. I never did because my dream was to be where I am now, because I wanted to be leading a company.
Yeah.
Right. Because if I look at what do you want as a human being, and what do you want for the world, or what do you want, then if you look at it like that, not about the title or where do you want to be in your career,
what do you want from life, or
what's important, then my ambition is to be able to be a change agent in this world, and this is really important for me. And a change agent in different ways. I would like to be a change agent by just making enough questions to people so they'd start also thinking in different ways about themselves, so that this makes a change. I don't need to be responsible for the change, right? But responsible for them start questioning what they are doing, and for them to be true to themselves, me to be true to myself. And also in the business world, a change agent, so that we start doing things a little bit different, that is more integrating, this left brain, right brain, as you describe it, and that it just makes more sense to everyone, that it's this path of least energy. and then I'm going to be happy. I mean, I don't need to be in a specific position